Hi everyone, this is Huma again, and since I don't feel like typing, I'm just going to do another video session. Again, I've become a total webcam whore. Next up, sex tape. Anyway, I posted the chapter a while ago, and now I thought I'd just talk a little bit about some of the stuff I did. The first scene was Cameron giving Jake the giraffe that Jason gave to Michael. That was just something that stuck with me from the show. So, you know, whenever I think about Jason and parenting and that sort of thing, I think invariably about that giraffe that he gave to Michael, how he suggested the African theme for the nursery when Elizabeth wanted to paint it. And, you know, that just seemed like something Michael would do, this new and improved Michael. I mean, he's not Sonny's son anymore. He's taken completely after Jax, which I think in large part is where that came from. This is a boy that's had like 3 different fathers during his life. He had Jason, he had Sonny, he had Jax, and he's finally settled with, you know, the father figure that he identifies with most, the man whose footsteps he's going to follow in. And I could totally see him sending his little sister back to his mother's house and having her root through the attic and find that giraffe and give it to Cameron for Jake, you know, to wake up to. Because Jake didn't have that. He didn't have any of Jason, not even a worn down little giraffe. Cameron says the line to Jake, "Mom's a wreck." And that's, you'll see that that's kind of similar on the banner that I use for, you know, the story heading. The lyric is actually from a song by Nada Surf. It's called, the first line, it starts out with the lyric on the banner. It says, "You tell Mom I'll break your neck. She's already a nervous wreck." And it goes on to ask, "Why are you so mean to me? You'll regret eventually." And that was, you know, someone once asked me where I came up with the title for the story was, and that was the song, you know, "Why are you so mean to me? You'll regret eventually." I just thought it really fit, especially with the "You tell Mom I'll break your neck. She's already a nervous wreck." So I had Cameron say that about Elizabeth, because she would be. She really would be. The next scene was Michael and Mel coming out of Mel's office, and Sonny and Jax are waiting for them. And the interesting thing was that Michael wouldn't respond to Sonny. Sonny was very confrontational, he was angry, he had his hands on his hip, very dominant gesture. Michael wasn't having any of it. Michael was trying to evade and just leave. And all it took was Jax calling him son, which was interesting, and grabbing his arm and just looking at him, and he could read what was in Michael's gaze, and he figured out that to a certain extent Michael always felt a little guilty about the fact that he had Jason, and, you know, he was Jason's first son in that sense, and Jake didn't have any of that, and Jake never really asked Michael for anything. And, you know, he worked really hard not to resent Michael or Morgan for having Jason be such a big, big part of their lives to that very day, whereas he never was, you know, for Jake. So that's why Michael would do this, that's why he wouldn't tell. Next scene, we got Mal's anger, and that was more so me just hating Robin and thinking that she was a stupid little twit, because she literally has everything that Elizabeth would kill for, and she's pushing it away and then bitching about it because it's not convenient for her. I mean, that just drives me crazy. Robin usually does drive me crazy. I mean, she has her moments for me, but in general, oh, she just drives me crazy, and I liked Mal ripping into her for that. But then, of course, he's the little psychiatric guy, and he's going to try, and he's always been pretty independent, so he's going to try to work through his issues on his own. And he just kind of dismissed that. I liked when he said that the secret was Jake's raison d'etre, and for me, whenever I think about or talk about raison, you know, the raison d'etre, I think about Hamlet. That's a term that will always, always connotate Hamlet for me. He's my favorite Shakespeare character. It's why I love Johnny Zakara so much, because he's totally Hamlet. But in another sense, Jake is Hamlet too. Like, he has this big secret, and he's going to poke the bear, and, you know, he's going to just run away as the fires are like his feet. He's not going to go all the way. He's going to take this to his grave, but, you know, he's going to, like I said, poke the bear a little. Very Hamlet-like. Then we've got Anna's romantic sense. She said that the secret was too beautiful and romantic to spoil by telling it, by giving it voice. So we really get a sense for how romantic and, we get a sense for who this girl is, and how romantic she is and how she's clued into emotion so much. And we'll see this later too, but for her, Jake is very much a character, and this story of his paternity is just that, very much a story. And, you know, her mind has always been spinning with all sorts of possibilities for it. And now that it's out, she's one of those people that she'll support Jake and her friends all they need, but she's going to sit back and she's going to watch this. Because that's just the type of person Anna is. You know, she's the people watcher. She is so clued into this. You know, this is her own, like Mal's the official psychiatrist. This is Anna's psychiatry. She's watching people. She's psychologically analyzing them. We have Alexis being crazy, following Christina around as usual, and not paying enough attention to Molly, which is fine for Molly because she's independent. You know, she's got her own thing going on, and she is sitting down to get to work, and she thinks about her father and how he's going to just, you know, flip out about this, and she just turns her phone off because that's Molly, and she just really just goes by the beat of her own drum, and she's going to do whatever she wants to do, even if that means ignoring her father for as long as she needs to. Let's see, Cecily. She is such a sensible girl, and I think Carly still hasn't come to terms with that. Cecily wouldn't tell just because she's not supposed to. It's not her secret. It's not hers to tell. She has absolutely no problem keeping that secret, keeping any secret. She's the kind of girl that if you tell her something, it will not be repeated, which is the polar opposite of Carly. So we see them clashing there, and Carly gets mad at her for being glib. And in a sense, Cecily is being glib, but just because she's had this argument with Carly so many times now, that sometimes she's a little frustrated that her mother just doesn't seem to get it, that she's so over this. You know, that she's not the drama queen. She's not going to go blabbing around about this. And everything she said was very true. She doesn't tell Carly everything. She doesn't really think she should have to. She's very right. No girl ever does. I don't care what Gilmore Girls wants us to believe, no girl ever tells her mother everything. So we got that. I didn't want her to come off as too cold. I tried to fiddle with that passage as much as I could, but I couldn't really do anything in the end. I was worried that she came off a little cold towards Carly, but whatever. We see Spencer acting like a total royal brat, and he's just so cold and shrewd and incisive. Everything, he's just so blunt. Everything he says was pretty much true. When he was a kid, he was the goody-goody. You know, it annoyed a lot of people. Annoyed me too. But he was the goody-goody, because that's how he thought Nicholas wanted him to be raised. And then he grew older, and he started seeing, well, maybe being good doesn't always, you know, get you where you want to be. So he started delving into the dark side a little. He started being a little bit more arrogant when he saw that it would get things done. He started throwing his weight around when it produced results. And now he's at the point where he's like, I always knew this would come out. I just didn't want to be the one to put it out there. And I know that whatever happens, Jake is going to use this to his advantage, because that's exactly what Spencer would do too. They're both businessmen. They're both cold and arrogant in that sense. And I loved his definition of a secret, just leverage. That's all a secret is. And he knew that Jake would eventually leverage the secret when it came out, even though he tried to stay in denial that it ever would. We see Morgan just zoning it all out. He, as far as he's concerned, everything that matters has already been said and done. This thing is out there. That's all that Morgan has wanted. And now he's bowing out. He's done. You know, he's always going to be there for Jake and Cameron and all of his friends. But as far as everyone else goes, he's done. You know, this is it. This is how it stands. He's the let the chips fall as they may kind of guy, and don't bug me about it afterwards. We see Johnny always being on the outside with this group of people. And we see Amalia always being so close to the inside, so close to the center, because Jake is the center. As much as he's the margin, he is the center. That's always been something very interesting for me, when that which is marginalized becomes the focus, becomes the hub. So I thought that was interesting, and she kind of teased him a little. She said, don't pretend that you didn't know, because I'm not pretending that anymore either. And then, of course, we have Jason and Elizabeth just totally drained from this, and really, who could blame them? I mean, it's the feeling I wanted to produce there was just a feeling of such weariness. They're so tired. And I think it worked. And now I'm tired because I had to go through all these views. Hope you guys enjoyed it.